Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and welcome to my DFS strategy video for the 2022 Valero Texas Open. Hopefully you had a chance to watch the preview video I did late last night as I went over all the pieces required to find the optimal lineup. In these strategy videos, it's all about finding the players to help us hit the optimal lineup, and we find those players based off of what we learned in the preview video. So if you haven't seen the preview, I'll provide a link top right hand corner. Go watch that one, come back here, and you will understand why I'll be selecting the players I'm selecting. But of course, the strategy video will be looking at SweetSpot ranks, Marquee tee time pairings, looking at anchor buckets, and then putting all that together and building some lineups at the end of the video. Which leads me right into the next thing is giveaways. So before we get into the video, I want to remind you about the giveaways that I'm doing. One being the cheat sheet. This is available to all of you guys. There's a link in the description below. You get two tabs down here. One I call the dream sheet, and then the other one, the bucket system. So you can follow along with me during this video as I discuss both of these things and select players based off of, both sheets. I would just recommend right away. I even have a note here under the SweetSpot DFS that says make a copy of the spreadsheet by clicking on file and going down to make a copy. That way it is yours and you can modify it however you want. I'm not sure if you can actually do, if you can put a filter on this. I have created a filter. I just don't know what it looks like from your guys' endpoint. So that's why I just say make a copy. That way you can do whatever you want with it. So this is available to you, but I'm also providing my optimizer, which is going to help you build lineups based off the criteria that I'm going to be talking about within this video. If you want the optimizer, what you're going to have to do is first be subscribed to this channel. Leave a comment down below. I don't care what it is, but if you need a topic, give me your 2 favorite golfers this week. And then you're going to have to email me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. I can't see your email based off of your user. Most of you guys don't provide that information. Some people leave their profiles set to public. That way you can click on their name and then go find their email address in their About Me section or whatever. But most of us don't do that. So really difficult for me to find your email address. You're going to just have to reach out to me. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it's the only way that it's going to work out. So if you do want this, again, email me, SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. Be subscribed, comment down below. This also has the dream sheet attached to it. So you don't have to look at that cheat sheet whatsoever. If you are going to use the optimizer, all this information is going to be provided to you. And again, just follow along with me as I go through both sheets. I also have the bucket system here as well. It's a little scrunched in, but either way, the same thing that's provided, that cheat sheet, is also on the optimizer. So you can choose which one you want to go with. But on to monetary giveaways. I have a subscriber giveaway that I am going to be giving $30 away to one of my subscribers once we hit the goal of getting to 350 subscribers. So we are at 326 currently. We just need 24 new subscribers. And believe it or not, still to this day, half of my audience are not subscribed. So I think it's easy. It would be easy to get there. And if you want a free entry into this video, all you got to do is be subscribed and leave a comment down below. And you can leave comments on all of my videos. You get 1 free entry per video. Doesn't matter how many times you comment on a video, you're only going to get a max of 1. But a good reason to go back to the preview video and leave a comment down on that video. You'll get 1 free entry that way. Leave a comment here, you get a 2nd entry. And then tomorrow when I do the prize picks video, if you comment there, you'll get a 3rd free entry. And I'm not stopping there. You get a 4th free entry if you retweet the tweet that I'm going to have the strategy video in. So you can get up to 4. Which really increases your chances of winning $30 as long as we get to 350 subscribers. And I'm keeping it at 30 until we hit the Masters. At the end of the Masters, if we still haven't hit our sub goal, I'm going to drop it down by $5 each week until it gets down to 10, and then I'm going to give $10 away. So either way, I'm going to reward you guys just for participating on the channel, commenting down in the comment section, leaving a like on the video, being subscribed, all that good stuff. I'm gonna reward you guys. As simple as that. And then I have a prize picks giveaway. If you're not yet signed up with prize picks and you're in a state that allows it, I have a link in the description below that'll get you straight to the sign up page. utilizing the promo code SweetSpot. And if you sign up with that code, put $20 in your account, I'm just going to give you your $20 back. It's basically, hey, if you use this promo code, I'm going to allow you to play for free. And then PrizePicks is going to match your deposit up to $100. So you don't have to just put $20 in, but if you want to play it for free, that's all you got to do. But if you want to put $100 in there, be my guest. I'm still going to give you $20 back, and PrizePicks will match your deposit. So you're going to put $80 in, and then you're going to have $200 to your account. Or if you only put $20 in, I'm going to give you your $20 back. It's going to be free for you, and you'll have $40 in your account. That way you can play for free. So super simple. It's more than any other content creator out there is doing. So highly suggest it. Again, link in the description below. That's all I have for giveaways. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the strategy video. And we're going to start with the SweetSpot ranks, or the SweetSpot score. Obviously, the score or the rank is based off the score. My number one golfer, Hideki Matsuyama. Now, let me actually just show you what these rankings are consisting of. I'm not using any grass stat. That actually reminds me. Let me bring up the tournament information. I cut some of this out during my preview video. If you can tell, the architect Pete Dye and Bruce Litsky, that is incorrect. I have to admit, I was kind of copying it down really quickly. I do have this in my database correctly, but I just decided to go wiki it right away, and I pulled the first course, which is the Canyon course. This is the Oaks course. It's not a Pete Dye golf course. It's a Greg Norman golf course. So if you're looking at this yesterday or during the preview video and you're like, that's not correct, you are correct. It's a Greg Norman golf course. But as you can tell with the grass that I have there, Bermuda overseeded with POA on the greens, overseeded with rye and fescue through the fairways and the rough. Hard to determine which grass is the best grass to use. And unfortunately, I don't have anything set up currently that does overseed. Once I have my database built and the website up and running, it will pull that stuff in just automatically. So it'll be super simple that way, but currently I don't have it. So we're not looking at grass stats. We were just at the Austin Country Club last week, or the PGA Tour was, I should say. Their rough was completely dormant. So you saw all that yellow and brown rough. We're at San Antonio, which is almost a stone's throw away. So it's not, I don't think it's going to have any, like the Bermuda's not going to be growing any better than it was at the Austin Country Club. So I'm not looking at any grass stat because I don't have it available. So we're skipping it. Anyways, we're looking at official world golf ranking, course history, bogey avoidance, birdie or better, recent form. These are your recent form stats for DraftKings average, their point average, their recent form average, like their average finishing position over the last 7 weeks. That's what I should say. Recent form is the last 7 weeks. And then their scoring average. I'm trying to get them as close to 100, but then I'm also dividing this whole section by 2. Because I don't want recent form to really push a golfer to be better than another one based off their recent performance. I still want it to count. I just don't want it to be one of those things that, you know, kind of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I don't want it to be like super prevalent in these rankings. And then we're looking at season long DraftKings average, scoring average, round under 70 percentage, cut made percentage, and DraftKings top 10 scores. So this is all 1 year, 1 full year's worth of data that creates the score, which then creates the rank. So you can see the rank over here, and we're just going to talk about the top 20. What I really like to do is, well, first of all, I like to sort it by the salary to see what my lowest point is on the screen. So you can see 8,300 Russell Knox. So anybody who's less than 8,300 that shows up when I sort it back out by the rankings, I'd consider them a high value. And of course, you know, anything that is above 8,300 that doesn't seem to be in place, probably not going to be of value. And what I mean by that is if we take a look at Bryson DeChambeau, he's my 16th ranked golfer in the field this week. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he has an injury and his recent form stats have been lacking. So he just drops automatically to 16th. So yeah, anything that seems out of place, like Gary Woodland, a little bit, Siwoo Kim, because like we have Johnny Vegas, who's 8,600, above all those guys. We have Patton Kizzire above all those guys. KH Lee, by the way, my 6th ranked golfer. My 6th rank golfer. You heard that right. 6th. $7,600. I'll be playing plenty of KH Lee. I will curb my limit. I'm not one of those that goes all in on a golfer, and I'm certainly not going to go all in on a $7,600 golfer. So if that's your cup of tea, by all means, go ahead and do it. I think it's a great play. KH Lee's a solid golfer. And this field is very weak. I mean, the strength of field, by the way, is 220. It should be 228. I don't know why it says 223 on there. I must not be reading something correctly. I did not cut anybody out. Maybe it's not looking at... That's what it's doing. It's not looking at the full field. There we go. 228. Strength of field is 228. So anyways, KH Lee, I think, is a great play. $7,600. Great value there. Troy Merritt actually pops up here, and so does Lucas Glover. I'm not a huge fan of Lucas Glover, but it's okay. I can dig it. So yeah, those are kind of your value plays, and some of your guys that kind of fell off a little bit are down here. I do like Luke List, but just not really rating out that well. Same goes with Charlie Hoffman. Kind of a little skeptical of him this week. Although he is on the thumbnail. I just did that kind of for the hell of it. Adam Hadwin, I do like $8,900. Yeah, it might not be the greatest value compared to the rest of the guys, but I still like Adam Hadwin this week. So these the sweet spot ranks actually play into another thing that I call the marquee tee times. And basically what I do is I'll sort it by, each player that, or I should say each group that's going out. And it's in order of when they go out. So your very first group is Chris Kirk, Adam Hadwin, and Sung-Yul No. They're teeing off on hole 1, and they have the earliest tee time. So they are group 1 or game number 1. And then it just goes down from there. Then it goes to hole 10, then back to hole 1, and so on and so forth. Well, if the rankings for the golfers in that pairing is below a threshold that I create, I mark them with this dark green color. Now, this one has font that's a little lighter. I'll talk about that here shortly. But in order to be a marquee tee time pairing, their collective ranking has to be under 85. And 85 is just an arbitrary number that I created because you take the field size of 144, you multiply it by 59%. 59, like I said, is an arbitrary number, just a fun number to use because it's a really good number in golf. That gets you to like 84.96 or whatever. We round up, that's 85. If their collective score is under 85, meaning it's a very good group of golfers, I highlight them this dark green color. So let me sort by this color because it's just easier doing it this way. And all these with the black font is going to be your marquee tee times. The one with the light font, those are the honorable mentions. They're very close to being under 85. But not quite. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total marquee tee time groups. Now, or just marquee groups. I did have to kind of allow like totals a little bit greater than 85 in the marquee tee times, because if we didn't, I think I'd just only have 4 groups to talk about, and the more the better, honestly. So 7 marquees, and then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 honorable mentions. Those are all loaded into the optimizer, by the way. So the group number here, I only have up to 10 groups. I don't have an 11th group in there, and I don't remember which one I left out, but it's not going to matter. It's more important to get most of your guys up here marked off, because what I believe in is you don't want to play more than one guy in a group. I've tracked this for about a year, almost exactly a year now. And what I found out is very rarely do you have 2 guys from the same group inside the optimal lineup, and also inside a GPP winning lineup. So I'm just going to play the odds and not put 2 guys together. You're more than welcome to. Like, don't get me wrong, but for me, I'm not going to do that. So if I like Gary Woodland, I'm not going to pair him up with Bryson DeChambeau or Luke List. I'm just going to choose one of them. And as long as I've tracked this, these marquee tee times, if we have at least more than 4 marquee tee time groups, we're going to see at least 2 golfers in the optimal lineup. So the ones that I have highlighted, I think we can expect to see at least 2. Now, the honorable mentions, I haven't really tracked anything like that. Sometimes we do see golfers in the optimal lineup from those groups. Sometimes we don't. So I'm not going to tell you guys to look at that or not. It's up to you guys. And again, like I said, I have put these in the optimizer, and based off the group, I'm only having a max of 1 for these groups. So you can see what I have in the conditionals here. So you can't pair up anybody in the same group, but if you wanted to, you can change this to a 2. You change it to a 3, or if you just want to ignore it all completely, put a 6 in there. And if you don't like some of these groups, then you can go ahead and change that to a 0. That's totally fine as well. You can also just change these numbers all together. And if you wanted a nucleus of golfers, you could also use it that way too. So if you liked 4 golfers, put them all to group 1. Just change this number all to group 1. And then when you come down here, you can change the minimum to be like, I want to at least play 3 of these guys, or 4 or 5. Either way, I do have that included in a video that I usually send out when I send the optimizer to new people to go and check out, just so you have an idea of how to use the optimizer. But that's what you can do. Super simple, super easy. But going back to here, yeah, I'm going to want to find 2 golfers to anchor my lineups around that are in these marquee tee time pairings. And that's what we'll continue to do throughout this video, is when we do build some lineups, we'll grab kind of our favorite pairings together, or our favorite pairings from the marquee tee times, and allow the optimizers to build the rest around that. So again, if you're following along, you can do this on the cheat sheet. You can also filter the way that I just showed you guys how to, and look for the marquee tee times yourself. Or you can also do that on the optimizer as well. But anyways, those are the marquee tee times. Now we talk about the anchor buckets. And in order to be an anchor bucket, for me at least, I want the minimum amount of golfers that I possibly can get, and I want the confidence of that bucket to be super high. So how I kind of do that is I go to the minimum projection, I put a filter, or I add the filter. I go to filter by condition, and I go greater than or equal to 0.9. Now I want there to be a little bit of flexibility, because if I put a strict 1 right there, I don't think there's much difference between 0.9 and 1. So I'm going to do just 0.9. And I'm not going to go down that slippery slope, say, oh, there's not much difference between 0.9 and 0.8. I'm just going to, 0.9 is where I'm going to stick it at. So we'll go 0.9, and that's eliminated a lot of the buckets, again, that we talked about in the previous video. So if you haven't seen it, go check that out. Now, my maximum, I want to be greater than or equal to 2. So let me go ahead and change this greater than or equal to 2. Hit OK. And that even narrows it down even more. One more filter that I want to do is usually, well, I'll usually eyeball it and try to figure out a good number based off of how many are in that bucket this week. But what I usually like to do is just less than or equal to, usually it's 25, but I'll make an exception 30. I don't think it's going to really change anything. And now we have 4 buckets to choose golfers from. For me, it's just easier to do this to tell you guys. You can actually skip this whole thing right here and just put none. That would be totally fine, because it's not a lot of buckets to choose from. It's just you've got a lot of golfers in some of these buckets. And maybe that's going to be easy for you guys to like go ahead and delineate between which ones you like and which ones you don't. Totally up to you guys. But for me, for this video at least, we're just going to go less than or equal to 30. Super simple. And again, we have 4. So we're looking at last year ones. We have 17 golfers in that bucket. And if you remember what last year ones were in the preview video, these are golfers who top 20 at this event last year. It's a bucket that's important. We see golfers inside the top 10 every single year with a performance from the year before inside the top 20. So we go back to the dream sheet. Again, you guys that are following along. and we go last year ones, and we just clear out, you know, the ones that were selected and just select ones. Here's our list, and I guess we can sort by salary top to bottom. Jordan Spieth obviously won this event. And just to show you guys a little bit of proof of where they finished, you can see all of them here, top 20 finishes. Spieth won this event last year. Corey Connors has won this event before, but he finished 14th last year. He plays pretty well here. You can see Chris Kirk, Gary Woodland, Luke List, Charlie Hoffman, who has like really good course history. This 16.75 is like from 7 events. So by far has the best course history here because of how many events he's played. So take that for what it's worth. I don't have a way for you guys to look at how many events were played. I do from the course history tab that I have on my spreadsheet. I know you guys, this is probably a little confusing. But if I went to Charlie Hoffman and we take a look at his name, he has 8 events. I'm sorry, I was mistaken. 8 events. Worst finish was 64th in 2018. Then there was a 40th, and nothing but top 11s from there on out. So this is definitely a Charlie Hoffman event. He's made 100% of his cuts, 4 top 10s. The guy is it's a course horse, right? Now, Charlie Hoffman has been battling injury issues. If you remember in the beginning of the year, he withdrew from a lot of events. So you got to be cognizant of that. Be aware of it. Just know there is some risk in playing Charlie Hoffman. Hasn't really been up to, you know, I don't know. Hasn't really been playing good golf. Let's put it that way. But it's a great candidate for course history purposes. And then you can see kind of the rest of the golfers that are here. I like a lot of these names. I like a lot of the guys even down in the 6K range. Like, I'm not going to be shy to play Camilo Villegas. I don't care for Brad Snedeker. Brandon Hagee is an interest. Nah, we're going to stay away from him. I do like Matt Wallace. And then it kind of jumps to the 7Ks, but this is where most of your 8Ks are living. And I don't mind these 8K golfers. I'm going to play a lot of list. I'll be playing Hoffman. I'm going to take that risk. I also really like Patton Kizzire and Ryan Palmer. So I like all those 8Ks. Really, it's going to be up to you guys. Who do you want to choose? You know, who do you like the most out of this range? I'm going to play everybody. I'll be playing everybody here. I'll play maybe one lineup of Brandon Snedeker. I'll probably play one lineup of Brandon Hagee, one lineup of Kyle Stanley, and then the rest of them, probably like 2 or more lineups. If I'm being honest, I'm not going to put a lot of these guys together. One way to look at this bucket system, and we talked about this in the preview, this is our minimum. This is our maximum. For our minimums, we always round down. Our maximums, we always round up. So we're looking at somewhere between 1 to 3 golfers from this bucket. So we can play up to 3, but I'm probably going to stay around 2 at the most. Another fun way that I like to do with this, since this number, or you know, the decimal place here, the 0.18, that goes all the way up to 100, right? So you can look at this as like 18. I think of it as like 18%. You could put 18% of your lineups having 3 golfers from this bucket, and then, you know, fluctuate the remaining percentages. You know, basically the remaining 80%, 40% you can have 2, 40% you can have 1. It's just a fun way. If you like doing that kind of thing, I don't mind doing that, to build lineups that way. But you can see there's been a minimum of at least 2 golfers from this bucket inside the top 10 every single year, and a minimum of 1 in the optimal lineup every single year. So definitely anchor bucket you want to be selecting golfers from. Our second anchor bucket are course history 2s. This is your average finishing position from course history, and my course history starts in 2015. Like 2013, 2014, we're still gathering results to create an average, and then 2015 is when we start actually looking at course history. So every top 10 stamps that course history for each golfer in the field right then and there, and whatever shows up inside the top 10 then gets, you know, it'll show up under the course history bucket. So this one, again, every single year shows at least 2 golfers inside the top 10. And we are projecting 1 to 3 from this one. And there's 1 to 3 in the optimal lineup every single year. So if we take a look at course history 2s, go ahead and remove this, or include everybody and then go to course history 2s. You can see it's a small list once again. We have Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth once more, Siwoo Kim. We also see Chris Kirk again, Gary Woodland once more, Ryan Palmer. I think those are really the only repeats. I don't remember any of the other names, but I like Kevin Streelman this week, and I don't mind some of these other guys down here. Probably not really gonna... I'm not gonna care too much about Aaron Baddeley or Jonas Blixt. I'll play some Jimmy Walker. I don't mind Ben Coles this week. I do like Vince Whaley. I should change his name to Vince because that's how it goes by all over the place. And Joseph Brehm. Like, I like those guys. Probably going to stay away from Zach Johnson and Brandon Grace. They're just short ball hitters that need to be extremely on their game, which they obviously can be. But I don't know. They're just not sexy enough for me to play. Like, I just don't want to play them. Their games are boring. I really hate sweating out, these types of golfers to try to make the cut or to finish inside the top 10. I just hate it. And I don't feel that rewarded if they do. So I'm just going to avoid them completely. But you got some other great names right above them. So again, you want somewhere between 1 to 3 golfers from this bucket. Now, if we go to the next one, it's our recent form, 20 to 40. And again, I'm looking at the last 7 weeks. Their average finishing position in those 7 weeks, if it's in between that 20 to 40th finishing placement, they're going to be in this bucket. And we want somewhere between 1 to 3, just like in the other buckets. We have seen a minimum of at least 3 inside the top 10 every single year. But why the projections are so low is because the strength of field is low. And we have to take that into account. We also have to take into the account there's only 11 golfers in that bucket this year when we usually see 19. So I don't think we're going to see at least 3. The other 2 buckets that we just went over, very close to their averages. So I have no problem kind of saying, hey, your minimum has been 2 every single year. We probably will see that again. This time, I'm not saying that. Projections 1 to 3. You can see the optimal lineup says 1 to 3. I'm not sure if that's also going to hold. But we can take a look at these guys. Again, we'll open this all up and then go to recent form 2s. And again, it's a smaller bucket, so you can see all these guys. We have Hideki Matsuyama once again. There's Corey Connors. Obviously, he showed up in our last year bucket. Same with Chris Kirk. I mean, Chris Kirk has been in each of these buckets. Here's the thing with these anchor buckets. The more times you see a golfer in the anchor bucket, it doesn't ensure that they're going to be inside the top 10. It just increases their likelihood of being inside the top 10. That's the best way I can say it. It's not a guarantee, but it's a likelihood. The likelihood goes up. We also have Keegan Bradley in this bucket. Adam Hadwin. Obviously, I mentioned him during the Sweet Spot ranks. Lower on the value, but still, I do like him this week. Pat Kazire was really good value. I don't mind Russell Knox. I do really like Matthias Schwab. That's a guy that I think I'll be rostering quite a bit. I think 2 weeks ago he kind of burned me, but that's fine. He's a young guy. I think he's young. How old is he? 27 years old. That's young. I don't mind playing him. Like, I think he can be a pretty good B list player, B plus list, I guess. So I don't mind rostering Matthias Schwab. I really don't mind rostering most of these guys. Remember, we're looking at somewhere between 1 to 3 from this bucket, and it's probably going to be more or less like 1 to 2. So you could actually start here. You could anchor some of your lineups together. Like, you could go with the Chris Kirk. He's an honorable mention guy. But like, say, Corey Connors. You could pair Corey Connors up with Hideki Matsuyama if you wanted to. It's a 10K and a 9K. We talked about in the preview, pass optimal lineups, 10-9-8, 7-7-6, that traditional lineup build, a very good one to stick around. So you could do it this way. This works out, checks out, but up to you guys. And I think that's going to be it for the anchor buckets. It did show 10K golfers as an anchor that you want to be building your lineups around. Gabriel Brown, I think you asked me a question. How do I feel about 2 10K golfers? Pairing those guys up. I don't mind doing like maybe an Abe Answer, and I don't know. I guess the short answer to that is I don't really like it because I don't have that much confidence in pairing two of these guys up. I think one does show up inside the top 10 and possibly one could win this event, but I don't think you're going to have two in the optimal lineup. So I would just pick one, and I'm probably going to, I mean, it's going to be very even ownership for me, but I'm probably going to be heavier on Rory than I would be Hideki. Like, I'll probably play Hideki in maybe like 16% of my lineups. Jordan will probably be like 20%. Abe will be like 20%. DeChambeau will be like 16%. And Rory will make the difference, like whatever that ends up being, to get to 100% between all of the 10K golfers. So I don't know, 16 was at 32 plus 40, that's 72. So Rory's probably going to be in my lineups 28 to 30% of the time. So that's probably how I'm going to do my lineups. So anyways, probably just sticking to just one of these 10K golfers. You could probably find a lot of leverage playing someone like a DeChambeau or Matsuyama because they have injury concerns. I think a lot of people will go to like a Jordan Spieth or even an Abe Answer. I think Abe Answer has been talked a lot this week. He's not a bad play. I do like Abe Answer. I just like Rory that much more. And all the builds that I can do with like the 6K, I do like the 6K range this week. I'm actually kind of coming around to the 7K. When I first looked at it, I thought it was awful. But I don't mind building, you know, going heavy, like a Rory at 11.2 and then Corey Connors at 9.8. Like, it doesn't really give you a lot of flexibility, but I don't mind it. I think it's okay. So all of this will lead us to the optimizer now. So again, if you're following at home and you have the optimizer, you can kind of follow with me as I go through and make some lineups. The first thing that I want to do is find two golfers in the anchor buckets, or the Marquee Tee Time, the Marquee Tee Time groups, to build my lineups around. And I think I'm going to start with the Rory Corey Connors lineup. Rory's playing in the morning. He's game number 10. Corey Connors is playing in the afternoon, game 33. So they're not in the same group. They are a part of the anchor or the Marquee Tee Time. So you can see over here, their numbers are colored with that dark green, or the fill behind it's dark green. So let's do that. Let's create a Rory in a Corey Connors lineup. Now, this optimizer creates unique lineups, and I'll show you how it does it. So I'll go ahead and run optimize, see what it does. This is a good lineup, by the way, on the screen. I did that right before coming here, before recording. So what it's going to do is it's going to figure out which one is the lowest value, the lowest metric, and it's Garrick Higo. So you can see this little N here. Don't delete anything over here because there's a formula there, and then there's a macro behind the scenes that runs. And what it'll do is it'll stamp a no with Garrick Higo, which is basically just saying he's now locked out. And he's never going to be locked in unless you go to his cell and, you know, either hit the empty mark or just hit the DEL, the delete button on your computer. Let me see if backspace works. Yeah, you could do backspace as well. That works as well. But anyways, Garrick Higo was here. Let's just run it again. So he's going to show up again because I deleted that N, so it's going to pick him again. But if you didn't like this lineup, go ahead, hit run optimize again. And then you'll get the next one after Garrick Higo. So now Vince Whaley shows up, and some of the other golfers change because of the bucket conditionals that I actually have in here. And I'm following the anchor buckets. I'm following some of the other conditionals that are outside the anchor buckets because obviously the anchor buckets are of golfers that are less than 30 in those buckets. And if you're confused by that, I hope you were paying attention when I was talking about the buckets. But either way, so I have all of that already set up as my minimums. So that makes the optimizer make sure that it selects golfers from that bucket. And then I also have my maximums here. So it won't select more than those guys. I am also going to eyeball how many times it selects a golfer from the match play event. I don't have that written into the optimizer, but I don't want more than 3 golfers that played in the match play. And I know Corey Connors went pretty deep. I'm okay with that. Like he finished 3rd place. He golfed the maximum amount of holes you can during that match play event. Well, not so much because he did have the withdrawal from Paul Casey that allowed him to not play 18 holes. But either way, he went deep into that match play, took him all the way to Sunday. I don't mind playing him. History has shown that it's okay to play a golfer that goes into the top 4. Matt Kuchar was in an optimal lineup here a couple years ago when he finished 4th or something like that. So don't be afraid to play Corey Conners. And actually, let me just validate that information. I go to 2019. Oh, Matt Kuchar right here. Optimal lineup. Finished 7th here. He was 2nd in that match play. So I was close. I remembered it somewhat. But anyways, I like this lineup that's here. I can go ahead and hit save lineup. But if I didn't, I can go ahead and run optimizer again. I do have a column here that will look at all of the ownerships. And I currently just have it set in there based off of some formula calculation that I have behind the scenes. You can change this to whatever you want. I told you I'm going to probably play Rory McIlroy in like 28% of my lineups. So you can just easily go in there and change that number to whatever you like. And of course, Bryson's at 8%. I actually might just keep it at 8%. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I ever want to go over 33% owned on a golfer, especially if I'm creating unique lineups. Just my own personal belief. If you guys like to go all in, then so be it. This other lineup, I don't mind at all either. If we're doing that 10, it's basically anything over 10K, I just consider in the 10K range. So we are looking at the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. So that's your traditional lineup build. As close to 50,000 as you possibly. It's 50,000 on the button. But yeah, this is also looking at all the group numbers, making sure I'm not pairing anybody up together in the same group. I'm also looking at AM versus PM. This is something I just added this week. You're gonna have an even mix. I think the default that I like to do is just put this as 4 and 4. Just that way it can't select more than 4 golfers from a wave. So that's just my personal belief as well. You always see a even mix, even when the conditions are really windy. Take, for example, the Players Championship. If you went back to that review video and you saw PM versus AM, you would have seen there was an even mix, even when one of the waves was way more beneficial than the other one. So keep that in mind. Here's an interesting lineup that just came across. McIlroy, Conners, Finau, then Merritt at 7,300, Joseph Bramlett at 65, and Curtis Thompson at 61. I do like Curtis Thompson, and don't sleep on the guy. Like this guy has been talked a lot about. I shouldn't say a lot. There have been a few PGA Tour players that are like, this guy has elite level of potential, which obviously you can say about any of these guys. But I do like Curtis Thompson, and I don't mind playing a flyer. I'll probably own him in maybe 4 lineups out of 100. I think that's good enough. But we can go ahead and actually, I'm going to go and scroll all the way down, delete everything. That's an easy way to clear everything, and choose 2 more anchor plays, 2 more golfers that are in the Marquee Tee Time pairings. So we did Rory McIlroy and Corey Conners. We could do something like a Jordan Spieth and Maverick McNeely. Maverick McNeely's not in an anchor bucket. How about Jordan Spieth and Gary Woodland? Seems like a good play. How about this? We'll go with Tony Finau, because I'm probably going to select Gary Woodland with Abraham Ancer. We'll do that because they would also work together. Why I'm doing that is because Tony Finau's in the same group as Abraham Ancer, so I'm not going to pair those guys up together. So we'll go here, Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau. You can also see on here the group numbers are the same, so Abe Ancer, Tony Finau helps you out looking at that too. So more likely we're going to see a lot of the same players show up in the beginning. Actually, we didn't. Garrick Higo, KH Lee, Patton Kizzire, and Mito Pereira. Like that lineup a lot. We can go ahead and see what the next optimal lineup would be. This is a good one too. Includes Davis Riley, which I'm kind of lukewarm about this week. $8,400 is a huge price increase. I don't care for that. But you can see we're seeing KH Lee again. We see Troy Merritt. And I told you I wanted to play Matthias Schwab, so I don't mind seeing Matthias Schwab up here. And then one more for you guys. Did change some things around. Was it just Scott Stallings? I don't remember. Can't remember. But either way, I don't mind Scott Stallings this week either. All right, one more iteration. Let's go with Abe Answer and Gary Woodland. And see what this spits out. It's probably going to have Garrett Higo again. He's just a huge value in the 6K range. Yeah, so it shows him again. Mito Pereira, Patton Kizzire, KH Lee. Same thing that you saw in that Jordan Spieth lineup. Let's see if it'll show anything different. Oh, yeah. Kept those same golfers, but just added Hudson Swafford instead. Just okay. I don't mind Swafford this week either. Ooh, this one included Alex Smalley and Charlie Hoffman. Yeah, I like that lineup. So I do like KH Lee this week. He's going to continue to show up in the an optimizer until I hit no, or I start saving lineups where then ownership will get, will get included. Robert Streb, interesting. Chris Kirk. I don't mind that. All right, that's the last one that I'm going to create. This is another good one. Mav McNeely, Gary Woodland, KH Lee, Matthias Schwab, Steven Yeager. I do like Yeager this week. So we are trying to build optimal lineups. You're probably going to have a 6K golfer that either you really haven't heard of before, or you might not have that much confidence in. It's going to show up every single week. Anytime there's a field of 120 golfers or more, we're going to see that. So don't be afraid to play a 6K golfer. But yeah, that's all that I have for this video. Yep. I just wanted to double check on that. So again, if you want the optimizer that I just used, be subscribed to the channel, comment down below. You can comment whatever you want, but if you need a topic, who are your 2 favorite golfers you're anchoring your lineups around this week? And then email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. I think you probably saw a little thing scroll across that has the email address there. And let me know that you would like this optimizer, and I'll send it your way. Also, the cheat sheet's available if you don't care for that. Link in the description. I'll get you straight to the cheat sheet. Again, just make a copy of it. That way you can put filters on it. You can modify it however you would like. And then the other giveaways that I have, if you want a chance to win $30, helping the cause to get us to 350 subscribers. If you are unsubscribed, that is. So if you are, please subscribe. Once we hit that goal, I will run this giveaway for everybody who put an entry in. And the way to do that, be subscribed to the channel and comment in any of the videos that I create. Each time you do that for whatever video you're doing, you get 1 free entry. A max of 1 entry per video. So every single week I put out 3 videos. You can get 3 entries that way. Retweet whatever tweet that I post, and you can get another free entry that way. So you get up to 4. And I'm going to run this all the way through the Masters week. So if we don't yet get a chance to run it at the end of this week, we'll run it next week during the Masters. Your entries for this week will go into that giveaway next week. So really just increasing your chances that way. But that is all. Oh, wait. Prize Picks. Sign up. There's a link in the description below. You sign up using the promo code SweetSpot, put $20 in your account. I'm going to give you 20. And it's at least 20. You can put up to you can put how much you want. Prize Picks will match your deposit up to $100. So if you put $200 in, they're going to give you an additional 100. If you only put $100 in, they're going to match that deposit and give you another 100. So an easy way to play Prize Picks for free if you just want to put $20 into it. Again, I'm going to give you $20 back, and then they're going to match your deposit. So you'll have 40. Super simple, super easy. That's all I have. So now I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.